In 1982, the Raiders, professional football's winningest team, played their first season in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. It was an historic season, filled with color, drama, fun, and excitement. A season in which new fans and old took pride in the silver and black. The Los Angeles Raiders' league record was unsurpassed, and on January 15, 1983, more than 90,000 appreciative fans, the largest non-Super Bowl crowd in recent pro history, cheered their playoff battle against the New York Jets. These determined Los Angeles Raiders, labeled also-rans in preseason polls, overcame adversity, travel, and intense competition to thunder down the stretch, win 6 in a row, and top the AFC with an 8-1 record in the shortened regular season. In the playoffs against Cleveland and New York, the Raiders continued the pressure football that has been a tradition with these gallant warriors in silver and black for 3 memorable decades. This explosive 57-yard score from Jim Plunkett to number 80 Malcolm Barnwell put Los Angeles ahead of the Jets in the third quarter. But in a fierce physical contest in which second effort became first nature, the key plays were turnovers by both teams. And in the end, just 4 points kept these amazing Raiders from their 11th championship game in the last 16 years. 1982 ended only a step away from another world championship. But for proud Raiders like retiring perennial All-Pro Art Shell, this single defeat could not lessen the remarkable beginning in Los Angeles. Another glorious symbol of the Raider organization's unyielding commitment to excellence. San Francisco was the site of the 1982 opener for outstanding head coach Tom Flores and his eager Raiders. In a match between the last 2 Super Bowl champions, Los Angeles took command with swarming special teams play by number 99, Reuben Vaughn, Jeff Barnes, Cal Peterson, Clee Montgomery, Chester Willis, Derek Jensen, Jack Squire, Jim Romano, and number 34, Greg Pruitt. Pro football's premier punter, Ray Guy, expertly readied by special teams coach Steve Ortmeyer, averaged nearly 50 yards, including this classic coffin corner kick. With sure-handed Mark Wilson holding, Chris Barr kicked 3 field goals, each longer than 40 yards. Preseason injuries to John Matuzak and Johnny Robinson created concern, but aggressive young veterans Matt Millen and Pro Bowl starter Lester Hayes rose to the challenge. Number 77, Lyle Alzado, proved hostile in his first Raider game, while blitzing defensive backs Mike Davis and Otis McKinney helped create 5 sacks and a fumble recovery by alert Dave Browning, number 73. Quarterback Jim Plunkett was without injured veterans Bob Chandler and Gene Upshaw. But Coach Tom Flores and skillful offensive assistants Ray Wilsey, Sam Bogosian, Bob Meshach, Tom Walsh, and Larry Cannon deployed Kenny King, number 33, as both runner and receiver. Starting with King was number 1 draft choice Marcus Allen, the Heisman Trophy winner from the University of Southern California. Allen, number 32, rushed for 116 yards and scored a touchdown in his first game in silver and black, as the Raiders ran their overall record in preseason and league action against the 49ers to 16 wins in 19 games. Fourth-year pro Todd Christensen, number 46, a new starter at tight end, caught a Jim Plunkett scoring pass that helped build the margin of victory for Los Angeles over San Francisco. Week 2 found the Raiders cross-country in Atlanta, where the Falcons' aerial offense was grounded by daring defenders like Ted Watts and Kenny Hill. The intimidating Los Angeles defense racked up 7 sacks and 5 turnovers, including a fumble forced by number 56 blitzing linebacker Jeff Barnes. This time the recovery was by number 74, defensive tackle Archie Reese, who rumbled 75 yards to score, escorted all the way by a black-jerseyed blockade. Massive linemen Dave Dalby, Mickey Marvin, Kurt Marsh, Bruce Davis, and Henry Lawrence gave Jim Plunkett time to find open targets like Todd Christensen, a former running back, astutely converted to tight end by the Raider organization. From up close, number 27, Frank Hawkins, punched it in behind Marsh and Allen. And for the second consecutive week, number 32, Marcus Allen, provided big play capability. Allen's versatility gave head coach Tom Flores another explosive weapon. This halfback pass to speedster Cliff Branch was the longest of Branch's 6 catches in Atlanta. Good for 138 yards and one more Raider scoring bar. Plunkett, Branch, and Allen were the leaders as the Raider scoring avalanche overpowered the Falcons 38-14. After 8 weeks of strike delay, the Los Angeles Raiders finally opened at home on a Monday night in November. San Diego had a 24-0 first-half lead before Raider mind and muscle, led by 7-time Pro Bowl choice Ted Hendricks, number 83, shut them out the rest of the night. Numerous turnovers were forced by a tough, hard-hitting Legion in silver and black. One of them a fumble caused by number 23, Otis McKinney, and recovered by second-year pro Reuben Vaughn. Dan Fouts was hounded relentlessly, and angry Raider defenders like rookie safety Van McElroy, number 26, chased down every mistake. 24 points down, 4th and goal. And Jim Plunkett, Art Shell, Mickey Marvin, and Todd Christensen began another incredible Raider comeback.
Second down, Plunkett gives him an inside handoff to King, sends it back to the 25 to the 20, chase him out at the 15. He's pursued down at the 9-yard line, and the Raiders are knocking at the door once again. They give the ball to Allen on a slant. He's in, standing up. Touchdown Raiders. Backs in the eye. Branch to the left. Barnwell to the right. Quick toss to Allen. Power sweep right side. King in front. The 5, the 3. Touchdown Raiders. Standing up Marcus Allen. And the Raiders move ahead unbelievably in an incredible comeback. That's an overused word, but it's perfectly valid right now after an incredible Monday night game here at the LA Coliseum. An amazing, amazing game.
Next for the Raiders came the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. Following the short week and long trip, the Raiders found themselves in playing conditions better suited to ducks than to football. Jim Plunkett had his first 300-yard game as a Raider, and Cliff Branch caught 2 more long touchdowns. But after 3 straight wins, the Raiders suffered their only loss of the regular season. Sunny Southern California was a welcome contrast the following week. And against the Seahawks, Marcus Allen sparkled. Using blocks by Marsh, King, and Lawrence up front, and Bobby Chandler downfield, Allen displayed his Rookie of the Year style, en route to 156 yards for the meticulously designed Raider rushing attack. Talented Kenny King provided scoring drive, while the defense pressured with blitzing linebackers Ted Hendricks and leading tackler Matt Millen. Ferocious hitting forced turnovers and big plays by number 51 Bob Nelson and alert outside linebacker Rod Martin, number 53, who returned a pass interception 39 yards for a score. Key interceptions were pulled down by number 44, Burgess Owens, as these Raiders, feared, imitated, and respected, returned to their winning ways, downing Seattle 28-23 before a cheering home crowd. Now 4-1 atop the AFC West, the Raiders next travel to freezing Kansas City. With Dave Browning out for the year, Howie Long, number 75, started. And with Ted Watts, number 20, and Lyle Alzado, number 77, led a slashing defense that yielded only 1 touchdown all day. Frigid conditions could not ground Tom Flory's offense, as Jim Plunkett again passed for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns to Todd Christensen.
It all hinges on whether Plunkett can get the ball up the field in 1 minute and 55 seconds. Raiders with 3 wide receivers, including Muhammad. 3-man rush by Kansas City. Plunkett back and throws. He's got Muhammad and he steps out of bounds. Plunkett to pass. He goes to Christensen. Crossing pattern at the 30s. Run down and tackle at the 25. Muhammad to the left. Back is Plunkett. Going deep. Muhammad in the end zone. Turns back inside. Makes a diving catch. Touchdown Raiders. Holy Toledo.
Calvin Muhammad's catch completed another amazing comeback, as these Raiders continually defied great odds to gain their 200th league victory, clinching a 17th winning season in the last 18 years. On Saturday, December 18th, the conference-leading Raiders returned to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum to host the Rams. The Rams built a 14-point halftime lead before fierce defense by Millen, Long, Hendricks, and Nelson took control. Innovative defensive coaches Earl Leggett, Charlie Sumner, Chet Franklin, and Willie Brown sent in aggressive adjustments. Linemen like Bruce Davis, Kurt Marsh, Ed Moransky, Steve Sylvester, and Randy Vanderveer reviewed blocking changes that helped the offense go long to Cliff Branch. A perfectly executed onside kick by Chris Barr accompanied by McKinney, Jensen, Barnes, Mike Hawkins, and Rick Burns, led to a go-ahead touchdown and a dramatic fourth quarter that put 23 Raider points on the board. A Matt Millen interception resulted from pressure by Robinson and Martin and set up a scoring pass to Greg Pruitt. But the Rams rallied near the end.
Here it is, the spot, the kick on the way, and it is good. With 1:38 to go, the Raiders now trail by a point, 31-30. And on to your hats. They want to keep the Raiders as deep as they can. Here's the boot. He kicks through it. Going to be taken by Pruitt right on the goal line. The 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, gets a lane, the 30, breaks a tackle at 35, the 42-yard line. No huddle, 1:14 to go. Plunkett, the throw complete to Branch at the 40, dashes to the 35. The issue is still up for decision. The snap, Plunkett gives it to Allen, racing to the left at the 10, the 5, he darts into the end zone. Touchdown Raiders! Holy Toledo, this is a crazy season. The Raiders have pulled it out in an incredible fourth quarter. The House of Thrills once again.
The thrilling 37-31 triumph earned the playoffs for the 12th time in 16 years and upped the Raiders' impressive interconference record. With a mark of 6-1 and a chance to clinch home field in the playoffs, the Raiders next hosted the Denver Broncos. Combining an awesome offensive line and the speed of Kenny King, along with the passing of Jim Plunkett and the versatility of Marcus Allen, Los Angeles stormed for 24 points in the second quarter and quickly put Denver out of reach. An all-out assault by Raider defenders resulted in 7 sacks and numerous turnovers, including a key fumble recovery by middle guard Reggie Kinlaw. Skillful defensive design put Matt Millen in the passer's lap on one play and in his passing lane the next. Millen's 60-yard interception return was the club's longest in 1982. In all, the Raiders picked off 5 interceptions, the last by Monty Jackson, and corralled the Broncos 27-10. For the final regular season game, the Raiders traveled to sold-out San Diego Stadium, where defensive captain Ted Hendricks and his Los Angeles teammates were ready for another battle in one of football's greatest series.
Bounce back to pass, 3-man pattern. Rifles one over the middle, picked off by the Raiders in the secondary, taking off from the 45 to the 50. Mike Davis down to the 30, down to the 20, and it's a touchdown Raiders. Holy Toledo! Lightning struck the Chargers.
Lightning struck the Chargers a second time when number 45 first-year pro James Davis brought an interception back 52 yards for another Los Angeles touchdown. Jim Plunkett, secure behind blockers Henry Lawrence and Bruce Davis, went long to leading receiver Todd Christensen and short to running back Frank Hawkins, number 27. Marcus Allen was Pro Bowl bound and became the first rookie to lead the league in scoring since Hall of Famer Gale Sayers did it in 1965. And Marcus Allen was never satisfied until he reached the end zone.
Power formation left. Plunkett turns, gives to Allen, sends him wide right. Nowhere to go. He reverses to the left. Plunkett gives him a block. He's at the 5, the 3, and a headlong dive. Touchdown Raiders. Handoff goes to Allen. Veers wide to the left at the 25, getting a block there from Hawkins at the 20, the 15, the 10. Touchdown Raiders. The frosting is on the cake.
In the final quarter, the powerful Raiders scored 21 points in under 4 minutes and completed the 1982 season with just 1 loss. And then it was time for the playoffs and the visiting Cleveland Browns. Jim Plunkett studied plans conceived by AFC Coach of the Year Tom Flores, featuring the lethal passing partnership of Plunkett to Branch. Raider personnel director Ron Wolf and his able scouts have always been directed to find massive pass protectors with toughness and pride, so the Raiders can confidently go for the bomb on any down, as Los Angeles did on the game's first play to set up an early score. On defense, NFL Comeback Player of the Year Lyle Alzado stuffed the run. Middle guards Reggie Kinlaw and Johnny Robinson attacked from inside. Mike Davis blitzed, and Howie Long charged from the outside, as Raider daring and design resulted in 6 quarterback sacks. The Raider machine roared for 510 yards of offense as Plunkett passed for a career-high 386 yards, expertly employing wide receivers, running backs, and talented tight ends Derek Ramsey and Todd Christensen. Christensen caught 6 passes and Cliff Branch 5, while number 80, Malcolm Barnwell, used his blinding speed to open up the defense and make room for the moves of Marcus Allen, who had 147 yards rushing and receiving and ran for 2 touchdowns.
Power formation to the left. Quick toss to Allen, going wide left to the 5, shakes off a tackler and dances into the end zone. Touchdown Raiders!
The Raiders defeated the Browns 27-10. Another towering achievement in their new beginning in Los Angeles. An historic season adding further glory to 3 decades of Raider pride and poise. Since 1963, when Al Davis and courageous original general partner Ed McGaw pledged to build the greatest organization in professional sports, the Raiders have totally dominated in terms of consistent victory, surpassing Major League Baseball's best, the Baltimore Orioles. Pro basketball's best, the Boston Celtics. And pro hockey's best, the Montreal Canadiens. Only these amazing Raiders have a winning percentage above 700 these 20 years. Sharing these glories are trainers George Anderson and Rod Martin, equipment director Richard Romansky, doctors Bob Rosenfeld and Don Fink, and the entire organization. But the true greatness of the Raiders is in its future. For Raider will to win will endure, as this proud organization maintains its unyielding commitment to excellence. The 1982 Los Angeles Raiders highlights were brought to you by Kodak, America's storyteller.
In the beginning, the NFL's 63rd season seemed more like a walk instead of a race to Super Bowl 17. The threat of a player's strike hung over stadiums like mist on the moors. The owners were steadfast, the players united. Doomsayers predicted the 1982 season would crumble. Yet once the mad scramble began, victories and defeats were more exciting than bargaining points and revenue sharing. Football was king of the hill once again. 2 weeks into the season, just when harmony was achieved on the field, a sour note was heard off it.
All NFL training facilities will be struck. There will be no practices, workouts, or training. We are united in our resolve to be treated and dealt with fairly and with dignity.
A players' strike grounded the coast-to-coast spectacle of pro football. As time passed, it appeared that the season would never fly again. But after 8 weeks, the NFL's 28 teams taxied back into takeoff position. The NFL awoke from a 57-day nightmare.
Okay, let's run it out of there. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
The flight to Pasadena and Super Bowl 17 was airborne once more. Attendance dipped, but those willing to forgive saw signs that the game was soon soaring at its accustomed altitude. In San Diego, Air Coryell was still the best way to fly, with Dan Fouts, the NFL's passing yardage leader, at the controls. Cincinnati's Kenny Anderson broke Sammy Baugh's 37-year-old record with an amazing 70.60% completion average for the season. The Anderson-led Bengals breezed into the AFC's Super Bowl tournament, while the Dallas Cowboys strolled into the NFC's playoffs with their usual cast of miracle makers and record breakers.
Dallas is 99 yards and 2 feet away from the Minnesota goal line. They have Dorsett as the only running back. Tom Rafferty over the ball. Goal line defense for the Vikings. A handoff, Dorsett up the middle. Here he goes. Cuts to his right. He's going all the way. Go. To the 30. To the 40. He's got 2 men to beat. To the 40. To the 30. To the 20. To the 10. To 5. Touchdown! Unbelievable! Tony Dorsett is in the record books. 99 yards.
The flair of Tony Dorsett, the leadership of quarterback Danny White, and the imagination of Tom Landry combined to give Dallas their 17th consecutive winning season. At times, these Cowboys looked like machines that were computer-driven, programmed for Pasadena. But unlike the previous 2 seasons, the Cowboys were not unbeatable at home in Texas Stadium. Landry's team lost its season opener for the first time since 1965. And during a late season slump, Dallas looked ordinary against less talented but more eager opponents. No one, not even the Cowboys, could escape the weirdness on the field during this strike-shortened season. Instead of an orderly march to Super Bowl 17, teams launched a crazy scramble. Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and St. Louis improvised their way into the playoffs, while others, like the Houston Oilers, couldn't bumble their way out of enough trouble to join the hectic championship chase. While many stumbled in this strange season, in Miami, Don Shula kept his Dolphins right in step. The versatility of quarterback David Woodley, number 16, allowed Shula to open up the Dolphin offense. But Shula's time-proven formula for success remained unchanged, as fundamental football made Miami's defense, the Killer Bees, the NFL's toughest. This was a tough, determined, and smart football team, just like Shula himself.
Double tight, you're in, double tight.
A Zonkian fullback named Andra Franklin, number 37, was the final muscle that allowed Miami to power their way to the AFC Championship, beating the highly touted San Diego Chargers along the way. During a distracting season, the Dolphins achieved success with an orderly application of all their resources. But in Week 14, even they were victimized by the NFL's strangest season. In the closing minutes of a scoreless tie in New England, the Dolphins watched helplessly as a snowplow driver became the hero of a zany scenario that no Hollywood screenwriter could have ever created. The Patriots rookie head coach Ron Meyer called for the masked man, and snowplow driver Mark Henderson responded. A convicted burglar who was employed at Foxborough Stadium on a weekend parole program, Henderson cleared a path for the decisive field goal that propelled the Patriots to the playoffs. In a season in which the leading men stayed home for 8 weeks, it was somehow fitting that the year's most memorable performance was turned in by a bit player. In 1982, Shea Stadium was the home of a flashy and daring football team. It was a place where you could find a salty soft pretzel and the world's biggest hot dog. Emotion fueled these talented Jets, and 3 straight playoff games on the road would help them prove that their willpower equaled their firepower. Against Cincinnati, Freeman McNeil rushed for over 200 yards as the Jets humiliated the defending AFC champions 44-17. New York's next test would be a far sterner one indeed. The Raiders. Intimidation was their creed. Might makes right their pledge. And in 1982, they backed their boast with Rookie of the Year sensation Marcus Allen, number 32, the NFL's top scorer. The Silver and Black finished the season with the AFC's best record. But in the second round of the playoffs against the Jets, the Raiders were on the wrong end of the hammer they had so hardily wielded over the years.
Pass! Come on, get it! Pass! Get it! Come on! Get it! Yeah! Go, Jay! Yeah! That's it, baby!
What a great hit.
New York's defense buried their skeptics and Jim Plunkett deep in the ground. And mighty Mark Gastineau danced on that grave with one final fit of fury. New York cruised on quarterback Richard Todd's tailwind to a 17-14 victory that jetted them all the way to the AFC Championship game. While the Jets were making noises in the East, in the West, the crash of the defending world champion 49ers was deafening. San Francisco was deflated by 6 losses, while in Green Bay, the Packers were pumped up and playoff bound. Led by smooth-striding wide receiver James Lofton, number 80, the Packers galloped into postseason play for the first time since 1972. Green Bay's sudden explosion was a surprise, but not nearly as big as the one that shook the nation's capital.
Yellow 41! Yellow 41!
In 1982, the Washington Redskins led the NFL's most important statistic, victories. They were a collection of unusual characters, like the Hogs, their huge offensive line. Quarterback Joe Theismann was an honorary piglet, and his crew of tiny wide receivers were so small, they were nicknamed the Smurfs. The Redskins also allowed the fewest points in football with a defense that strictly enforced a hands-off policy. While other teams won with stars, the Redskins won by using the efforts of every individual and by performing the extra efforts that make a team great. Everyone played an important role as 3 of Washington's 8 wins came on field goals by the record-setting Mark Mosley.
9 seconds to go. Theismann to hold from the 32, a 42-yard attempt. High snap. Theismann's got the ball. Plenty long enough. It's good! Mark Mosley has broken the National Football League record.
We're the type of guys that stand up and we'll meet the challenge and, see who wins. Today we won. They said that they're going to come in here, they're the butchers and we're the hogs. The thing they forgot is before a hog goes to the butcher, somebody got to kill it, and nobody even come close today.
No one in the Super Bowl tournament came close either. Not the Detroit Lions, who fell 31-7. Only Alvin Garrett's Smurf-like politeness spared the Lions from further embarrassment. But a week later, led by their big porkers up front and their groundhog running back John Riggins, number 44, Washington was less than courteous as they stampeded the Minnesota Vikings. The Redskins won 21-7 to advance into the NFC Championship. There, much to the delight of themselves and their fans, they would meet an old nemesis. It was the Cowboys and the Redskins. A rematch of bitter rivals with the NFC Championship at stake. Surrounded in RFK Stadium, the Cowboys circled their wagons while the Redskins donned their war paint, then attacked. Led by fullback John Riggins, who rushed for 140 yards, Washington drew first blood by scoring the game's first 2 touchdowns. Before Dallas could clear leather, the Redskins ambushed Cowboy quarterback Danny White. White left the game with a concussion and never returned. However, steadied by the gunfighter nerve of substitute quarterback Gary Hogeboom, who consistently converted key third down plays, Dallas mounted a second-half comeback. At the trigger of Landry's shotgun, Hogeboom fired at will, connecting twice for touchdowns. The Cowboys were back in the battle, their 6 guns blazing. However, Dallas's only road out of these badlands was through the air, and the Redskins knew it. Dallas was cut off at the pass as Washington's 31-17 victory left the Cowboys 1 game short of the promised land for the 3rd straight year. For the young Redskins, the journey to Super Bowl 17 continued.
You watch so many Super Bowls. You know, as a young guy, you dream about it. If I wasn't here, I'd be home and having a little celebration, have people over. And now the same people will be watching me. And I love it! I love it!
Washington awaited the AFC champion. In muddied Miami, the Jets met the Dolphins in a battle far more physical than the season's first 2 meetings. Neither team scored in the first half. But in the second half, it was the day of the Dolphin. A Dolphin named A.J. Dewey.
The ball at the Jets' 48-yard line. 13 minutes to go. Dolphins lead 7-0. 3rd down and 7. In motion, Barkham back to the near side of the field. Todd will play fake. He throws the ball. It's intercepted at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be run in for a touchdown by A.J. Dewey at the 10, the 5. He scores!
Dewey's 3rd interception of this championship finalized a 14-0 win as Miami earned the right to face the Redskins in Super Bowl 17. It was indeed ironic that in an age of pass-happy madness, a pair of throwbacks to the good old days of running and defense were the 2 who would line up in sunny Pasadena. The clouds of discontent that had darkened the season were swept away in the Rose Bowl as NFL 82 came to a stirring conclusion.
We've busted our ass. We've worked harder than anybody to get here. Nobody can beat us in a team, and it's worth $70,000. What a big win!
Miami would score on 2 of the longest plays in the history of the Super Bowl. The first came on a pass from David Woodley to Jimmy Cephalo that covered 76 yards. The second came on a 98-yard run by Fulton Walker. Number 41 used a key block by Steve Scholl to record the first kickoff return for a touchdown in the history of the event. But for all their long-range lightning, Miami couldn't put the Redskins away. Washington kept the contest close, then used their hogs and diesel engine fullback John Riggins to grind out a world championship.
Crank up that diesel. Let's go, diesel.
Let's go. Goal line. I left tight wing, 70 chip on white. Ready?
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. Should come with John Riggins right up the middle. Right up over the middle. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20. He's gone. He's gone. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
John Riggins' run was the longest in Super Bowl history, while his 166 yards on 38 carries set Super Bowl records as well. The Washington Redskins won the World Championship 27-17 and ended the strange season of 1982 with a heroic victory, won in classic fashion.